had a lovely week. It's that time of the week again where I'm going to do a little tutorial, but this week is a little bit different. So I teach on plein air painting class every Tuesday morning, just locally. And I always do demonstrations. I do a demonstration to begin with, and then I discuss composition, colour, tone, how you're going to choose the essence of your subject and how to make that stand out, etc. I think it's really important for teachers to do demonstrations, not to influence the students, but to make them consciously aware of the factors that they as teachers are used to finding and creating in their paintings, especially in plein air because it can be overwhelming. But something happened this week. I started with a demo. It was just a little jetty, quite a lovely little scene, lovely sunny day. And I did a quick demo, talked about perspective, etc., etc. Then usually what happens is I'm busy going around to everyone individually for the rest of the time, and I don't get to paint while I'm there teaching. So I come home and during the week I get to finish it. And what I did was just get caught up in the painting, and I lost sight of how much I needed to do. So this is it. This is the start of it, and then here is the finished version. And I'm not saying it's a bad painting or a good painting, that's irrelevant. The fact is, it was something that triggered me, that I thought, aha, this is a really good teaching point for beginner watercolourists. You can just get lost in the painting, and sometimes that can lead to overworking. Sometimes it can lead to a lovely painting, but it might not be the painting that you set out to create, which is what happened with me. I kind of overworked it in the detail. So my go-to is actually to tighten up and to become really, like, I don't want to say architectural, as a negative thing, but it loses the looseness that I've come to love in watercolour. So I thought this is a really good example. I'm going to recreate that scene, but not in the terms of plein air, because a lot of, when you go outdoors to paint something, you're specifically trying to recreate it on your paper, and that's up to the individual. But I just wanted to show you a different way to paint this that's a lot easier and a lot less busy, and can still give you a lovely feeling with your watercolour painting. Okay, here we go. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but I've lightly drawn up the jetty, roughly the same position. It's perhaps a bit too low on the page, but this is just a demo. I'm not going to redraw it. I don't have the time. So let's get going. I'm sorry I didn't get this video to you yesterday. I've got a lot going on and had a bit of an emergency deadline, and obviously paying the bills comes first with my time. I've got to get ahead of you all again and get one or two up my sleeve. Okay, so I hope you can see that's wet. I'm just going to use some Payne's Grey and some Phthalo Blue. And I really just want to let this run. This is the kind of painting that I wanted to do instead of being so realistic. I really love when watercolour just is allowed to do its thing, and it just runs and bleeds and does these lovely shapes. So it's not, as I said before, I'm not looking for a totally different analysis of the scene. I just wanted to paint more of how it made me feel rather than how it looks. But if you can be aware of that already and start to work in a way that you're actually going, oh yeah, I know it looks this way, but I want that blue to be really bold, or you're exaggerating certain things. So this paper's dried a little bit too much now.
so I'm just going to re-wet it with some blue in it, and that's going to really soften it off for me. Let it run. Now I'm just adding in some of the green. Essentially, I just want to play with these really dark underneath parts of the pylons. I just have to keep reminding myself to add water, because that's what I'm chasing, that really unpredictable, watery movement of the paint. Need a different brush with a short bristle. That's actually a pylon. Just want pops of interesting colour, not necessarily any real explanation behind it. And that's what I forget to do when I'm painting plein air, because I'm teaching for one, but the other side of it is that I'm really, you know, capturing what's in front of me. So perhaps I need to slow down, take time to think through a little bit more instead of rushing, and yeah, get that believability at the back rather than at the front, because then my paintings will have more of what I enjoy and not just be, you know, looking like what they're supposed to look like. So it is something that it's up to you, it's a personal thing. But all of the elements of painting, composition, contrast, balance, colour, you've got the opportunity to do things with all of those individual elements that are going to exaggerate the way that, you know, the painting comes across. I'm always a very light painter, so my contrast is always soft until I really build it up. And you can work that way as well. You just have to keep going a bit stronger every time. But already this is looking, I guess it's like a quieter painting, if that makes any sense. Much more feeling in this one. I'm really a lot happier. You may prefer the first one. You know, everyone's got their own little way of doing things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just thought, you know, I really wanted to show you this example, because I thought, oh wow, that's something I caught myself out on, and you know, I've been doing demos for years, so perhaps it could have been a help to you guys. And so now I'll go back to my bigger brush. Oh, it's losing its hair. Must be going through menopause. And I just want to put in a real subtle hint of what's back here, because it has no point of interest for me with the painting, but there is, you know, heavy trees and foliage in this back area, but it's just more finishing off than anything else. I don't have any real need to explain it, so that in itself is a good time to put something in that's quite soft and runny, and then I just go back in with perhaps a feeling of some cloud or something soft. And I'm darkening the sky here because this is above the area where, you know, I'm sort of pulling the eye to here. So that's pretty much it. I could fiddle around a little bit and darken some areas, but it's not the the finishing of this painting, that's really the key thing. It's the difference in how I painted it and how I assessed all of the elements in it. So that's the part I hope that you could see, and then have a look at the comparison of the two. And as I've said before, you may very well prefer my first one, but I really like my next one. So, that's the main thing. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I will definitely see you Friday next week. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you. Bye.